Hello, today I'm going to show you how to create a custom sensitive information type using a keyword dictionary. First of all, let's discuss what a sensitive information type is. Sensitive information type, otherwise known as a SIT, is a detection mechanism that identifies sensitive data such as personal, financial, or organizational specific information. Sensitive information types can be used to automatically apply things like sensitivity labels or retention labels to files in your Microsoft 365 environment, and they can also be used as conditions for DLP policies. Microsoft provide many out-of-the-box sensitive information types, but these typically can return a lot of false positives and don't always reflect an organization's unique requirements. Custom sensitive information types provide organizations with the ability to use customizable detection logic, which can be fine-tuned to increase accuracy. In today's example, we'll use a keyword dictionary. So first we need to create one. To do this, all you need to do is create a text file with a list of all the terms that you want to be detected as part of the custom sensitive information type. Once you've created that, you can then browse to purview.microsoft.com, and if you click Solutions, you then want to select Information Protection. We then want to expand classifiers and select Sensitive Info Types. We then want to click Create Sensitive Info Type. We then want to enter a name and description. Just going to call this one Companies. And a quick description there. Obviously, in your own environment, choose a slightly more fitting name and description. We'll click Next. We then want to click Create Pattern. And from here, the first option that we have is the confidence level. So you'll notice here, if I click the drop down, we've got low, medium, and high. In the example today, I'm just going to use the high confidence for this. However, if you wanted to create separate patterns for each confidence level, you can do that as well. As I mentioned, we're going to click high confidence. We're then going to add our primary element. So this is going to be the keyword dictionary that we prepared earlier. So what we'll do is we'll click that, click keyword dictionary. You'll notice that you've got the option to choose from existing direct dictionaries or uploaded dictionaries. So we're just going to call this companies for now, and we're going to choose to upload a text file. And we can see that that's now loaded all of our keywords from the dictionary that we prepared earlier. And what we're going to do is we're going to click Done. And the next option that we have is character proximity. So in our case, I'm going to set that to 25. However, this may differ. And what this setting here is actually doing is it's choosing how close we want the primary element, which is the list of companies that we prepared earlier, in correlation with the supporting elements that we're going to add quickly now. Now, this will depend quite heavily on the types of data that you're using. So for example, if you're using quite structured data, so maybe potentially things like forms or things like that, going with a smaller character proximity might be better. Whereas if your data is slightly more unstructured, so maybe it's large emails or long strings of text that are in large documents or bits and pieces like that, having a greater character proximity may work, and there is capabilities to test this out later so that we can see what works for you. And again, with this, it's all about fine-tuning. This is what's excellent about the custom types, is we've got the ability to do this so that we can fine-tune it for something that's going to work for our organization. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click to add our supporting elements, and you'll notice here there's a few different options that are available. So we've got regular expression, keyword list, keyword dictionary, or functions. I'm actually going to select another keyword dictionary. So let me go select that. I will then choose one that has already been added. So let me add that in there. And here we can see that we've got some keywords that we're going to look for in addition to the other keywords that we already added. So client, company, organization, these kind of bits and pieces. So that's going to be used as our secondary element that we're going to be looking for to support the claim that, okay, this is matching the sensitive information type. We found both a company name as well as one of these attributes that typically goes along with that. So an example of this could be that potentially you've got some kind of form where it's kind of, client colon and then the name of the organization or something along those lines. So I'm going to click done here. And then lastly, there's the option for additional checks. So we can exclude specific values, start or doesn't start with characters, end or doesn't end with characters, exclude duplicate characters, include or exclude prefixes and suffixes. So we've got those options available there. In this example, I'm not going to use any of those. So I will click create. We can see that we've got our pattern there, and then I'm going to click next. Obviously, this is matching for a high confidence level. I'll click next again, and then we will click create. Excellent, so that's now been created, and next we'll move on to the testing. So we want two types of files to test with, one being a true positive, so something we know should trigger the custom sensitive information type, and a false positive that if configured correctly should not detect the custom sensitive information type. Okay, so to complete the testing, we're going to select our newly created custom sensitive information type, and we're going to allow it to load, and then we're going to click test. It's then going to ask us to upload a file. So in our case, I'm going to first upload the true positive to make sure that that's working the way that we want it to. And we can see it took a second to load, but we can see that it has detected the following in that document. So we can see, so it's detected some of the things that we were looking for there in both the primary and supporting elements. So that's excellent. That's doing exactly what we want it to. And if we just go back, what we're going to do is we're then going to upload the false positive, and we'll do the same again. And here we can see that it didn't detect any sensitive information in the false positive. So based on that, we can see that this custom sensitive information type for our scenario is working the way that we would like it to. However, you may need to test this in your own environment a little bit more. Obviously here we've only used 2 test documents. However, if you're doing this for a production environment, I highly recommend using more test documents so that you can more accurately pick up where you are going to be detecting those true and false positives. But this is just an example to show you how you can create a custom sensitive information type using a keyword dictionary. I hope this video was useful, and I will see you in the next one.